You ever notice how a simple word can change the way somebody feels about you? It's crazy, right? You don't need fancy gifts. You don't need long messages every morning sometimes. It's just a name. A name that makes a man feel like he's your only one in the room. Because here's the truth. Men don't just fall for beauty, they fall for how a woman makes them feel when she says their name. See, when you give him that nickname, it's not just a word, it's a message. It's your way of saying, you matter to me, you're mine. It's something that hits him deeper than a compliment because every man, no matter how tough he acts, craves that gentle recognition from the woman he admires. It's that emotional spark that tells him he's not just somebody, he's your somebody. Now, I'm not talking about the usual nicknames everyone throws around. Not babe, not hun, not sweetheart. Those lost their magic a long time ago. I'm talking about something personal, something that's between you and him only. A word that carries your energy, your tone, your connection. When you say it, he should feel like you're touching his soul without even laying a hand on him. Because when a man starts associating that word with you, it becomes more than just a nickname, it becomes a feeling. He'll hear it and instantly smile. He'll be driving, hear that word somewhere, and think of you. He'll start to crave it, crave the way you say it, crave you. That's when you know you got him hooked, not with games, not with pretending, but with genuine energy that comes from your heart. And you know what else? When you speak to a man like that, you're giving him a safe place to drop his guard. The world already expects him to be strong, to carry everything, to never show emotion. But when he's with you, when he hears that name from you, he finally gets to breathe. That's what makes it powerful. That's what makes him crazy for you. It's not about manipulation, it's about connection. It's about understanding that real attraction doesn't live in what you show, it lives in what you say. Words build emotions, emotions build bonds, and bonds build love. So when you choose that nickname, make it real. Make it something that speaks life into him. Because the right woman doesn't need to chase. She knows how to attract. She knows that her words, her tone, her energy, that's her superpower. She doesn't need to force a man to love her. She just knows how to make him feel seen. And once a man feels seen, really seen, that's it. He's not going anywhere. So don't underestimate that nickname. Don't say it just to say it. Say it with meaning. Say it with warmth. Say it like you know the power you hold. Because when you do, he won't just hear your voice, he'll feel your presence. The right nickname creates an emotional connection deeper than words because it touches something inside a person that ordinary compliments can't reach. When you give someone a name that feels special, it becomes a symbol of how you see them. It's not just sound, it's sentiment. It carries emotion, memory, and warmth all at once. When you say that name, it sends a message without needing explanation. It says, you're important to me. It's subtle but powerful. It builds an invisible bridge between two people that can't be seen but can definitely be felt. It becomes an emotional fingerprint that's only shared between the two of you. When a man hears that name from you, he doesn't just hear the word, he feels the connection that comes with it. That's why the right nickname can make someone melt. Even if they don't show it, it bypasses logic and goes straight to the heart. People often underestimate the emotional chemistry that comes from something as simple as a name. But think about it when someone calls you by a name that no one else does you. Instantly feel seen. You feel recognized. It's like they see you beyond the surface. That's exactly what happens when a woman gives a man that one special name. It makes him feel chosen. It tells him that she pays attention, that she notices little details others might miss. And that recognition, that little spark of exclusivity creates a magnetic pull between them. It's not about flattery or charm. It's about belonging. The nickname becomes a safe place, a sound that carries emotional weight. When that name comes from a woman who says it with softness, confidence, or care, it starts living in his mind. It reminds him of warmth, laughter, and comfort. It turns into a form of communication deeper than speech. Because sometimes it's not the words that matter, it's the energy behind them. A man can hear thousands of words every day, but only one voice can make him pause, smile, and think of something real. That's the power of emotional connection through a name. It's why some people still remember the way someone used to say their name even years later. The right nickname becomes a symbol of trust. It says, "You're safe here. You can be yourself with me." And when a man feels that kind of comfort, he starts letting down walls he didn't even know he had. That's when the bond deepens. Because every man wants to be understood without having to explain himself. And that's what that name does. It speaks for him. It becomes a language between two souls. Every time you use it, you reinforce the connection. You build emotional intimacy without even trying. It's the kind of thing that doesn't need to be loud or public. It thrives in quiet moments, in private exchanges, in those small interactions that carry the biggest meaning. The right nickname is more than affection. It's emotion turned into sound, care turned into rhythm, love turned into recognition. It's one of those things that, once it's given, can never be forgotten because it imprints itself in memory and emotion all at once. Men fall for how you make them feel when you speak to them because emotion has more power than appearance ever could. You can be beautiful, stylish, and confident, but if your words don't reach his heart, that connection won't last. What truly draws a man in is how your presence makes him feel about himself. When you talk to him in a way that brings peace instead of pressure, warmth instead of judgment, it creates something deeper than attraction. It creates a safe space where he doesn't have to perform or pretend. He can just be. That feeling becomes addictive because in a world that constantly tells men to be tough, emotion becomes a rare kind of comfort. When you speak with softness, understanding, and calm energy, he feels it in a way he can't explain. It's not about what you say, it's about what your tone delivers. Every word you speak carries energy, and he can feel whether that energy is loving or demanding. When he senses peace in your voice, he begins to associate that peace with you. That's why some people are unforgettable. It's not because of how they look, but how they made someone feel in their presence. Your words can either build a man up or break him down, and when you learn to speak life into him, he will always remember the sound of your encouragement. Men might not always express emotions openly, but they feel deeply. When you talk to him in a way that brings out his better side, he feels seen in a world that rarely looks beneath the surface. Your words can remind him that he's more than his mistakes, more than his pride, more than what life has told him he should be. When you speak to his spirit instead of his ego, he starts to connect with you on a level he didn't even know existed. He won't tell you, but he'll feel it every time you speak. He'll replay certain words in his mind when he's alone, trying to understand why they meant so much. That's the emotional power that comes from how you make him feel when you speak. Even small moments matter. The way you say his name, the way you pause before replying, the way you listen instead of rushing to respond, all those little things carry emotional meaning. They tell him that you respect him, that you hear him, that his words are worth your attention. And when a man feels heard, he opens up, he drops his guard. That's when he starts to trust you on a different level. He begins to crave your presence, not because of attention, but because it feels good to be around someone who brings him peace. Every time you speak, you have the choice to either feed his soul or drain it. And when you choose to feed it, when your voice becomes a source of calm, reassurance, and belief, that's when he starts to fall. Not for your looks, not for your charm, but for how you make him feel when you simply speak. A personal, unique nickname becomes a secret bond between you two because it carries meaning that no one else can understand. It's not just a playful word or a random name. It's a private symbol that holds a piece of the connection you share. When you give someone a nickname that no one else calls them, it sets you apart. It becomes a language only the two of you speak. That small word can hold laughter, memories, and emotions that build silently over time. It represents moments, energy, and affection that no one else has access to. It's a reminder of your presence even when you're not around, a sound that echoes with emotion every time it's heard. Every relationship has a rhythm, and that nickname becomes part of that rhythm. It's the melody that plays softly beneath every conversation, the gentle reminder of familiarity and care. When he hears that name, his guard lowers just a little because it carries warmth. It tells him that he's special enough to have a version of himself that exists only in your world. No matter how strong or confident he is, that nickname touches a softer side, the side that craves closeness and affection without having to ask for it. It's a form of connection that doesn't need big gestures or dramatic words. It's simple, subtle, and real. When the nickname is genuine, not forced or exaggerated, it holds power. It's not about sounding cute, it's about creating a thread of emotional familiarity. Every time you say it, you're building comfort and intimacy. It's like a quiet whisper that says, "You're mine," in a way that no one else understands. That word can make him smile on a bad day, calm him in a tense moment, or remind him of the bond you share when distance gets in the way. It's the emotional fingerprint that ties your energy to his memory. Over time, that nickname becomes more than a sound, it becomes a feeling. When you say it, he feels care. When someone else says something close to it, it doesn't feel the same. That's because the word holds your tone, your warmth, your energy. You've breathed meaning into it. You've turned it into something alive. It's what separates casual affection from emotional depth. It's what makes him think of you even when you're not there. The nickname becomes a trigger for everything he associates with you: comfort, trust, happiness, safety. That's why it's powerful when it's personal, because no one else can use it the way you do. It's your own little secret wrapped in sound. It turns ordinary moments into emotional ones. It tells him that he belongs somewhere, that someone knows him in a way others don't. It's not grand, it's not loud, but it's real. It's that quiet connection that keeps him close, even when everything else feels distant. It's not about the name itself, it's about the feeling you've attached to it, the bond that grows every time you speak it. When he hears it, it triggers comfort, admiration, and craving for you, because that nickname becomes emotionally tied to your voice, your energy, and the way you make him feel every time you say it. It's not just a word anymore. It's an emotional memory that his mind holds on to. Every time it reaches his ears, it brings him back to that moment when he felt understood, appreciated, and seen by you. It's like a shortcut to the feeling of being valued without you having to say a single extra word. That's why it hits deeper than compliments or sweet talk. It's a sound that carries emotion, a signal that tells his heart, "She cares about me," without you ever saying it outright. When you say that name, it softens him. It brings him back to a calm place where he doesn't need to prove anything. The tone, the rhythm, the way it rolls off your tongue, all of it becomes part of the connection. His body reacts to it because emotions live in memory, and your nickname becomes one of those memories he never gets tired of reliving. It feels safe, familiar, and warm. It reminds him that there's someone who accepts him not for what he does, but for who he is. That comfort turns into admiration because he begins to associate that name with everything positive you bring into his life. It's a sound that makes him pause and smile even in the middle of chaos. That's what creates craving, because every time he hears it, his mind releases the same feeling it did the first time you said it in that soft, caring way. It becomes a loop, an emotional cycle that pulls him back toward you again and again. He starts to look forward to hearing it. He waits for it, even if he doesn't admit it. It's not the name itself that he's attached to, it's the feeling of connection it brings. That craving isn't about obsession or control, it's about emotional resonance. It's the heart's way of saying, "I want more of what makes me feel at peace." You might not notice it, but when you use that nickname during conversations, it shifts his entire mood. His tone changes, his expression softens, and his attention locks on you because you've created a sound that feels like home. It's a kind of emotional intimacy that doesn't need constant effort. Just hearing that name reminds him that he's seen, that someone understands him without judgment. It's a rare kind of feeling that not many people give him, and once he experiences it, it becomes something he quietly treasures. That's the power of emotional association. You've connected your energy to a single sound, and now it carries all the warmth, trust, and care you've ever shown. Every time it touches his ears, it feels like a reminder of you, the comfort, the admiration, the pull that keeps him thinking about you long after the words fade away. Using a nickname with warmth gives him a safe emotional space because it creates an atmosphere where he feels accepted without having to perform. When a man feels your tone carries softness, care, and genuine affection, something inside him relaxes. The world constantly asks him to be strong, composed, and in control, but that gentle way you speak gives him permission to simply exist as himself. It's a rare kind of freedom, one that doesn't require him to hide his feelings or pretend to be tougher than he is. When he hears his nickname said with kindness, it becomes more than just a word. It's an invitation to be vulnerable, to be real. That's what makes it powerful. It gives him the emotional shelter he doesn't even realize he's been looking for. Most men aren't taught how to express emotion comfortably. They carry pressure on their shoulders, unspoken expectations that tell them to stay silent, stay strong, stay unbothered. But the moment someone speaks to them with tenderness, it disrupts that armor. It reaches the part of them that's been craving softness. When you say that nickname in a warm, comforting tone, you're sending him a message that says, "You're safe with me. You don't have to hide here." That kind of emotional reassurance changes the dynamic between two people. It builds trust. It tells him that you're not there to judge or criticize, you're there to understand. And that's something a man doesn't forget. The warmth in your voice is what transforms that nickname from ordinary to meaningful. It's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. Your tone carries the emotion he feels but doesn't know how to express. When you speak gently, it softens the tension he carries inside. It lets him know that love doesn't always have to be dramatic or loud. Sometimes it's found in the calmness of your words. That calmness becomes his emotional anchor. No matter how chaotic life gets, the sound of you using that nickname grounds him. It reminds him of peace, of ease, of home. When a man feels emotionally safe with you, he starts to show you sides of himself no one else gets to see. He opens up about fears, dreams, and insecurities because you've built a space where he doesn't have to guard them. The nickname becomes a small reminder of that safe space every time it's spoken. It's a word that holds trust, warmth, and familiarity. It's like a soft place he can return to in his mind when everything else feels heavy. He might not say it out loud, but he feels it deeply every time you speak it. That warmth doesn't come from trying too hard or acting sweet for effect. It comes from authenticity, from genuinely caring about his peace. When your intention is pure, it radiates through your tone. He can feel it. That's what makes it safe. That's what makes it real. Because at the end of the day, every man, no matter how strong or confident he seems, wants one thing: a place where his soul feels at rest. Your warmth becomes that place, and that nickname becomes the doorway to it. Real attraction grows from energy, tone, and intention behind your words, because those are the things that reach deeper than appearance or surface charm. People often think attraction starts with what's seen, but the truth is, it begins with what's felt. The energy you carry when you speak tells someone more about you than any words could. When you speak with calm confidence, warmth, and genuine care, that energy draws people in effortlessly. It creates a space where they feel comfortable, curious, and connected without even understanding why. Your tone becomes the melody that their heart recognizes. It's what makes them feel safe, excited, or emotionally moved. That's where real attraction begins, not in what's visible, but in what's felt on a deeper level. When you speak to someone, your tone communicates emotion before your words even register. It shows whether you're being sincere, playful, kind, or distant. The tone of your voice carries the emotional message behind every sentence. When that tone is soft but confident, it creates balance. It's both inviting and grounding. It says you know your worth, but you also know how to make others feel valued. That kind of balance is magnetic. It makes the other person feel calm while still keeping them intrigued. Because attraction isn't just about chemistry, it's about emotional harmony, and your tone sets that rhythm. Intention adds the final layer. Every word you say holds energy based on why you're saying it. If your intention comes from a place of love, honesty, and respect, it naturally carries strength. People can feel it even if they can't explain it. When your intention is pure, your energy flows differently. It's open, warm, and genuine. That's why sometimes a simple hi can make someone smile for